Hi guys. I'm gonna do another reading today. I've rolled my dice and I got the 6th house Libra. We're looking at a South Node event for somebody. So if you have Libra as your 6th house and you currently have the South Node within that, the 6th house can be about our health. It can be about our habits. It can be about work. There's a situation where you kind of just feel like you're just a little bit stuck. How about we think about stuck differently? How about we're waiting for something to come in? So like, I know that like right now you may feel like everything is working against you, but what if everything is like forcing you to stay where you are? You know, instead of seeing it as a bad thing, see it as a way of being protected by forces that you don't understand. I mean, obviously that takes a little bit of, sometimes blind faith and being hopeful, but it's, something you gotta think about it just like a little bit differently. What if this time of pause and wait is the time that you need to work on yourself? It's the time that you need to, get your shit in order. Maybe there's things that we need to change. I always call this the goat card. So, maybe there's something literally that, you need to do authentically you. Everybody, is very unique in their own way, but like sometimes it's okay to step forward and shine and, but do it in your own authentic way. And sometimes we're challenged where, to me, this is always emotion, right? Turbulent, troubled waters. And sometimes we have to be like stoic and calm and okay with everything that's happening. Sometimes, no matter what's happening around you, you have to try to find a way to like hone in and, am I controlling my emotions or are my emotions controlling me? Am I reacting to a true reality, or am I reacting to a perceived point of view of something that may be skewed without all the information? You know what I mean? So like allowing yourself to be emotionally dynamic, but yet not letting it hold you back. Find, the calm seat among the chaos. It's a good thing though. I always say that no good song was ever written just because. It normally comes from a profound place of deep feeling and thought and inspiration, mostly from life and sometimes from the imagination, but most of them are based off of real true feels. So I would say within this, maybe it's work, maybe it's something you're doing, and it's also like, I want to say it's kind of like a love language. For this particular person, it's like we do acts of service as our way of giving and showing love and showing up to the best of our ability every day. But sometimes let's make sure that we're not just showing up for, like sometimes we do stuff because we want people to be proud of us. We do all the different kinds of things. Well, you know, we'll do things for people so they will be proud of us. Odds are they already are, but we have sometimes this insatiable need to want to just always choose right, always do a good job, always be successful, like all these different things. And then sometimes, you know, we're not, you know, we're a little resistant to like the hard times when we actually get challenged. We want to soar through things, but sometimes we, you know, we don't, but that's okay, you know. But make sure that like what we're doing because we genuinely want to do it. So if it has something to do with work, if it has, I mean, anything, it could have anything to do with any type of thing at this point, you know what I mean? But make sure that you're coming from a place that you actually want to be, like you're trying really hard for that thing, like following your actual dreams, you know, because, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I have what to me sometimes looks like a couple different things. For me, what I want to say is that sometimes we meet change head on, you know, the two horses coming at each other. Sometimes it's a person, maybe sometimes, you know, I always like to call them like the cleanup crew when you're at work and like the new guy comes in and then they're like a hard ass sometimes. They're like either one of the two. They're like super nice, super rad, really excited to meet everybody, you know, who's my crew. Or you get someone who's like, I'm, you know, standing in ego and I'm going to be an asshole and I'm gonna fire everybody, and you know, like, so it's like you just you experience many different things. So you got, you know, that energy coming in is, you know, it's like sometimes to me it looks kind of like an opposing point of view with somebody maybe. And you know, I'm saying that because obviously we're getting the, you know, this sometimes can be mental, right? Like maybe somebody challenges you, makes you think something different, you know, about yourself, which is sometimes good, you know. Sometimes we are entertaining delusions and we, you know, need someone to come in and, you know, like, you know, wake you up to something. But, you know, sometimes, you know, people come in and they, you know, make you fear for things, you know, whether it's, all maybe let's, you know, perceive these as mistakes. Sometimes we go over and over and over in our head everything that we think we messed up, and we just ride ourselves like so hard. And sometimes it can literally, you know, cause like nightmares. Sometimes it can literally, you know, cause anxiety. Sometimes it can literally cause sleep deprivation. Sometimes it can be, you know, just a constant sense of sorrow. That was pretty deep. Wow. But the reason also why I'm saying that, gosh, I'm such a lovely reader, aren't I? Is because this, you know, this is normally an energy of leaving something behind that is, you know, always not like the most positive vibe, right? But let's try to think about it just a little differently, right? Because all those things I said, yeah, that sucks. That really sells the cake, doesn't it? But again, what if you're not really happy where you are? Is that okay to admit that? You know, like, sometimes like we prevent ourselves from moving into new territory just because we're wanting things to stay the same. And that's like, you know, cool, but you can't want change and then get upset when it happens. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where like we're really wanting something to happen, we're wanting all kinds of things to happen, but sometimes like you need a little bit of chaos in your life so you can like see how strong you are, you know? Sometimes you need a change of direction. You need to be able to allow yourself. And it's, you know, it's also 6, right? So it's the 6th house, you know, 6. 6th house can also be like our physical temple, staring directly. Like I always like to say the 6th house is like our body, even though I know like people would disagree with me. The way that I've experienced it personally, like doing readings for people, is for me, the 6th house is normally the body, the way in which our health is. And then we have, you know, our 12th house is our, like, the internal mind, like the way that things are moving. Like sometimes the 8th house can be a little bit about, you know, that kind of stuff, but it's more external. But, you know, it's like 6-12, you know, so sometimes, I don't know, maybe like for health reasons, mental health reasons, maybe, you know, you just wanting a different place to be. Like, it's okay. It's okay to start over. There's no shame in it. Like, everybody has this weird experience with failure. Obviously, nobody wants to fail. Everyone wants to always succeed all the time, you know, always have people praise us, never make a mistake, you know. But the reality is, this is everybody's, like, you know, as far as I can remember, it's our first rodeo, and still we stumble through it, you know. If we had done this 1,000 times, things would be easy. So, you know, it's like we're toddlers starting over every single time. So, you know, and, you know, it's just like we came to the school of earth where nothing makes sense because it's not allowed. It's like nothing's allowed to be easy. There is no such thing as an easy button, but there is a positive mindset. That's the closest thing we get to an easy button. You know, so you could look at this card and you could say, oh, he kind of looks like he's pouting, kind of like sad, disappointed, like everything that keeps showing up for him is, you know, just one more thing that I didn't ask for. But, you know, and this was in the other reading that I did when I was outside, you know, it's, remember, what we think about, we bring about. Say things as though they are and that they shall be, you know. So it's like, are we just sitting back, chilling, knowing things are going to come to us right when we need it, you know, that we'll never lack for anything, so long as we, you know, put ourselves in the correct positions to receive these things, which means it requires effort. Sometimes the sitting back and waiting for something to happen is the wrong answer. Sometimes it requires knowing exactly what you want, sitting there and thinking about everything you need to do, and then getting up and taking action towards it so we can start to get what we want. Which, again, sometimes is initiated by uncomfortable positions. Like, again, this is not, you know, this, you know, hanging by one ankle from a tree. Can you just imagine that just for 5 seconds? Imagine yourself in, like, the most tender part of your ankle being hung from a tree, like, for probably a while, you know. Eventually you'd get tired of it, you know. So, but think about it differently. Maybe you needed a different perspective on something. It happens. And also, when we're, like, thinking about what we really want to do, you know, sometimes it requires trusting your intuition. And I know everyone's always saying that, trust your intuition, trust your intuition. So sometimes, like, intuition and manifestation become like cuss words in in this community, which is, you know, or just in general. It's like, oh God, here they are, another manifester. But we're manifesting all day long. Like, literally everything that you think that you want, every thought that enters through your brain, you have the ability to act upon it. And, you know, the more you think about it, the more you put yourself into those situations and you draw it near yourself. Is that not manifesting? If you constantly are experiencing the same thing over and over again, odds are you're manifesting. If it's great, keep doing it. If it's terrible, stop doing it. You know what I mean? But you have to, like, follow your, like, literal intuition. Listen to yourself. Observe your thoughts. Like, really think about not only the words that you say, but the thoughts that you think. You know? Sometimes we experience, you know, really hard situations, so we grow from it, you know? And so long as you're growing from it and you're able to, you know, basically, if you've gone through it and you've learned the lesson, you don't repeat it. If you haven't learned the point of the lesson, if you haven't learned to make different choices, change different things, literally sometimes thinking and speaking, changing those things, nothing changes. But then when something does change, when it does change, it'll be, you know, through misunderstanding sometimes. The wonderful thing about so many wands being there, I mean, I know we have some swords. Yes, we have swords. But the wonderful thing about the wands is literally sometimes we have the ability to change something. Obviously, you can't change the past, but you can change yourself, you know, and you can change how much you allow yourself to react and respond in certain situations. In the very beginning, probably not so much. Sometimes we react and act poorly, and afterwards we were really hoping we would have done better than that. But it happens. So